All right, welcome back to the Edamame Anime Club. I'm Steve. I'm joined by my co-host
Squid,
Joel,
and we are doing a full review of which anime?
Uzumaki.
All right, and just a quick disclaimer: we played a drinking game. So if you know what Uzumaki is, it actually stands for spiral, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we drank every time we saw a spiral.
Yep.
So we're a little bit lit. Kanpai.
Kanpai.
I know we're late on this anime. Definitely super slow, like a snail. Y'all know what I'm getting at. Yeah, y'all know what I'm getting at. Y'all know what I'm getting at. Y'all know what I'm getting at. Yeah, so before we get into this anime, we like to go over a little bit about the anime. So it's you and I both like Junji Ito. And I know you were kind of new to him.
Yes, I have not watched much. I've been slowly getting into the horror anime as a horror fan, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, so Junji Ito dropped a couple anime. He dropped the Macabre Tales. And he dropped another one.
Japanese Tales of Macabre.
Yeah. Is that the other one?
And no, there was
Junji Ito Collection.
The Junji Ito
that's
collection.
the one I've seen a bunch of stuff on, but never actually watched it. And then I've heard about the Japanese Tales of Macabre, but I haven't watched any of it either.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah. Yes. I've been wanting to, I've been needing to, like I said, as an avid horror fan, you know how much I love horror, but for some reason I haven't watched it. But I also knew he came out with this.
Junji Ito has dropped some bangers, and I'll tell you right now, the reason, and I know you guys are probably in the same boat, the reason I love anime is because the storytelling aspect is really captivated when you watch an anime. Opposed to watching your typical movie, show, it's really brought back. The anime just really exemplifies the storytelling aspect.
100%.
So, Junji Ito dropped an anime, and this is why I really fell in love with him. It's called Tell Me.
Okay.
So, spoilers for two things. Spoilers for the Junji Ito collection, or Junji Ito's Tales of a Macabre.
Oh, wow.
And spoiler alerts for Terrifier 2. If you guys ever watched Terrifier 2, extremely inspired Terrifier 2 from Junji Ito collection.
At least the ending.
The ending. Where Tomi, a girl that will not die, is reborn in the belly of a girl that comes out only as her head. Which is exactly the same ending to Terrifier 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anime really does inspire a lot of films
Did
to watch.
not know that, but alright.
Great. Both great films.
Because all I knew is that, I think, if I'm right, the director, Damien Leone, said that he had a different vision for the ending of Terrifier 2, but then something came out that was similar to his ending, so he changed it.
I'm sure you got inspired by this anime, which is...
And so that was the second option.
Yeah, Tomi doesn't die, neither does Art.
Yeah.
So I think they really the inspiration on each other. We see anime taking place of a lot of anime, like Akira. The Akira slide,
dude,
is notorious across the board.
Yeah, I recently watched Sonic 3. Yeah, it's in that.
Perfect Blue, Black Swan.
Yeah,
they're just. I even say, excuse me, guys. Serial Experiments Lane, The Matrix. They have the real good storytelling that I think anyone can pull from an anime and make a movie from.
That's very true.
So with this one, this is Uzumaki, which is it kind of is. It's not an anthology, in the particular way of an anthology where every episode is a different story.
No, it's linear. It tells a story.
Yeah, it is linear, but the anthology, there is an anthology telling this because it's telling from different perspectives of each character in it.
In a way, I guess it's just kind of more of what's going on inside this town.
Exactly.
But
each episode is a different type of horror.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is and it kind of reminds me of like Trick or Treat.
And a creep factor.
Yeah.
A creep factor.
Oh my god.
It's just kind of just like, it's not necessarily like extreme horror, but it definitely gets you in there just like, that's fucking creepy as fuck.
Oh my god.
That's creepy as fuck. And that's what I absolutely love about Junji Ito.
We'll get into the mix of the favorable, memorable scenes. Let me read these reviews. I'm going to read a 10 out of 10 review for this one. And I'll let you decide if this is accurate.
Okay.
All right, this is written by someone in the story.
Wait, okay.
Yeah, all the other reviews on here saying the show was too fast paced and that they were trying to get the show out trying to get the show out too fast to spell T-O, not T-O-O, fast. It's just stupid. All that matters is that they stayed true to the manga and they kept in the black and white art form. The first episode was so good that I watched it a second time and to see anything different, and I was amazed at how much they put into the characters and the background style. The music is amazing, with the acting to be superior. Honestly, I'm excited to see how they do. Jack in the Box chapter being on of my favorite with the butterfly one. Super excited to see how the show do. Sorry.
Does.
Super excited to see the show doing well.
Take your turn.
So, the reading's hard, guys. Reading's hard.
He's only good at math.
Only good at math. Barely. What do I think?
So is that the 10 out of 10 one?
That's the 10 out of 10 one. Does not sound like
That
a
was
10 out of 10.
very negative.
Does not sound like a 10 out of 10 one.
Okay, what do you think?
I mean, I thought the first episode was pretty good as far as the animation goes. Anything else I thought was pretty good. You know?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Yeah, I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. By the way, the title of this review is called A Masterpiece.
So, I mean...
Just the first episode, though.
That's what he's referring
This is all
to.
the
right.
first episode, right?
But it's just a review for the entire anime.
So, I mean, if we're going to go off that review for the entire... As someone who's solely dipping in a horror anime, I thought it was very well done. It was very interesting to see that black and white manga-esque style of animation that they did, where it's almost like they took the pages off the fucking page and put it to screen, you know?
Right.
It was very beautifully done. It very complimented what they were trying to tell. The story, honestly, I don't think it was too fast. I don't think it was too slow. It was kind of perfectly done. 4 episodes to tell your story. I mean, honestly, half the times anymore, and it's drawing out the anime, and it kind of ruins it. You know, they did it very well. Like, I wasn't confused. I was at the end until I saw the end, and then I was like, okay, now it falls into place. You know, you're only confused enough to where you need to be until they tell you what you need to know.
Yeah, no.
Like, to me, it was beautifully done.
Yeah, and I agree on the sense that, like, you don't need a certain number of episodes for an anime to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a standard. 12 or 13 is going to be standard. But I'll tell you right now, anime like Fooly Cooly, which is 6 episodes, Afro Samurai, which is 5 episodes.
And a movie.
Yeah, and a movie. These anime don't need those episodes.
Yeah.
So storytelling can be done in a 4-episode series.
Right.
Yes.
Now, granted, I don't think this is a masterpiece.
No, but I thought it was really well.
It's not a masterpiece, but it's a fun ride.
I don't think
It is a really fun ride to watch.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to read you a 2 out of 10 one. The title of this one's called Generally, What Was Episode 2? And I honestly think, before I read this, I'm assuming this person is stuck on episode 2, which was a wild ride.
I mean, episode 2 was a lot.
It was, it was. Because, you know, you only think that you're going into this, I guess, when you're new to Junji Ito. You know, you're kind of just going into anything that's going to resemble, I guess, a spiral,
but I mean,
in a sense.
Yes, and I mean, to be fair, with this being like, it might have been a lot of people's first introduction to Junji Ito because it was on Adult Swim, right?
It was an Adult Swim.
None of the other stuff was on Adult Swim.
Because it was on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
With the what is it? The Junji Ito collection.
Exactly.
And then you have the
Macabre.
Yeah, the tales of Japanese Macabre
on Netflix.
And on Netflix.
So this could
Macabre
have been
on Netflix.
A lot of people's first introduction to where they didn't know any better, I guess, so to speak.
I agree. Yeah.
So it could make sense for that, but like you were saying.
Right, let me read it. Okay. If you are watching this based on the animation in the trailer, don't. I would have rated this 8 or 9 before I watched episode 2. 8 or 9 because it was a small bit too fast in the pace. But the animation in episode 1 saved it. Episode 2, on the other hand, the animation was horrible. There's a scene where characters are running and the sliding across the ground was so bad. Generally, why do companies and studios think it's a good idea to cut costs in time just to make a quick buck.
I think this is where I was like laughing while we were watching it. But I mean,
you
even
did say the animation does.
Let me finish. It's not done yet.
Oh.
If you want to make money, make a genuinely good show that people will want to watch. I was so excited because the trailer was amazingly animated and it captured the style of Junji Ito well. Now it's closer to something like the Junji Ito collection. If you know how awful that show was, in the event, that's where it ends.
What?
So, yeah, so I agree.
Okay, so
with
an
you.
open-ended ending.
It's
That's
very
fucked up.
open-ended, exactly.
It doesn't get the point across.
Well, I think you made some points.
No,
I
I
think you
mean,
could talk on that, Joel, because you were the one that brought that to my attention.
which was the animation.
The animation,
Yeah, the
yeah.
animation was really bad. It really fell off after episode 1. You kind of realize that, like, and I really hate bringing this up almost every single time I can bring it up. But
Chat's up that.
Berserk 2016 to 2017, how lifeless the characters felt. This is how it kind of felt afterwards in the series, and this is how they were saying that they were running down something, and there was a part where when we were watching this, I was laughing because of the way that they were running down something, and it just looked so, it just looks so unreal. Like it was just kind of like they were just sliding down rather than running. It was just hilarious to me. But apart from that, I mean, the storytelling with it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I'd say. So there was like a give and take here with it.
yeah, and I get what he's saying with the Junji Ito collection, because the Junji Ito collection, if I'm not mistaken, is legitimately it's almost like reading a live action manga,
Right.
or like the animation. It's like stills, and it just
Or just
it's just growing. It's like basically like instead of having someone move their mouth to make a monologue, what they're doing is their mouth is open and it's like, gas, and then it has the monologue written for them without really their mouth moving. So I think that's what he's getting with the Junji Ito collection. I felt that same way when I watched the Tales of Macabre.
macabre.
I felt that same way, but really at the end of the day, it's like I'm basically watching a real life manga be told.
Right.
And I got over that really quick with this one because the storytelling is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two those two reviews. We are going to jump into the spoiler section of the anime.
Yep.
So everyone, if you have not watched the Junji Ito collection, what is it? The
Uzumaki.
Uzumaki. Stop this. Pause it. Go watch it. It's only 4 episodes long.
Come back, 20, 40, 80, like hour and a half tops.
Yeah, for the normal people, for us, it's like 5 hours.
An hour and 20 minutes.
We played a drinking game.
An hour and 20 minutes.
It takes longer if you play the drinking game. There's a lot of
the drinking game is you drink every time there's a spiral.
And then all the potty breaks.
We were
all the potty breaks.
Well, we were on like our second, almost third beers by the end of the first episode.
There's a lot of spirals.
It was.
Yeah.
It was rough.
So stop the video, guys. Go watch it. Come back. Let us know what you think. Comment down below. All right, let's jump into the spoiler section of the anime.
Okay.
I love to start with the introduction of the anime, which there was not one.
Well, what do you?
There was. Go ahead.
Define introduction is what I was gonna say.
I feel like are you talking about like a whole like intro to like how how
You've seen
there's
Junji
like
Ito, the Tales of Macabre. That starts off right?
Yes.
With a very good song by Mad Kids.
Right. So but then again, so you're talking about just intros.
I'm talking about the introduction, like the music.
So okay. So it doesn't have one.
No.
And I'm alright with that.
I was upset about it. They do a title sequence, which is fine. If you really if you're just trying to get into the story.
So you wanted an OP.
I want an OP. Yep, I want an OP.
No, it's
like a whole Lisa or like a fucking
yes.
Yes. For what they're going with, it's kind of fitting for them not to be OP because each episode kind of starts where the last one left off, and the seamless is like it ends. you catch the new one after it goes a little preamble, and then you have the little title sequence to tell you what it is, but like an LP would just kind of take away from the fact of what they're doing. You have your ambient music behind it.
Yep, I agree on that. It was good.
But it keeps it that thriller horror aspect that they're trying to go to.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh man, this person just died from this to this, and then like, and you hear some like kind of OP going hard, and it's like, okay, now I gotta go to this person's head chopped off, or why was this gone? You know.
I feel like with it being the Uzumaki
it's weird.
manga that it was, that they're gonna utilize the amount of time that they had for each episode to kind of just go on with the story.
Yeah, so
rather than just kind of using like a minute or two of a intro and outro.
Yeah.
So I'm all right with that. But then again, with the Tales of a Japanese Macabre, macabre or whatever, however you say that.
I think it's macabre, but I don't know the BRE part.
I think it's macabre. But you know, it's kind of like it's just what's the word?
Fitting?
No.
Caveat.
The type of show it is.
Oh, anthology.
And then and anthology.
Yeah.
So you know, it kind of doesn't have a time limit necessarily of how much of a story it's going to tell.
That's fair.
So it has a bunch of stories that it's going to be, whether or not it's going to be less or more time than each. So an OP doesn't matter.
No, he's absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm coming from, and again, I said this is not an anthology, but it's ran like an anthology because it's different perspective of different characters inside the same story.
I don't think it's rather different perspectives, but rather than what's going on in each, or because it's a whole town. It's the whole town that's being...
it is multiple perspectives during each episode.
Yeah, so we get the father, we get the father's friend that made him the stuff, we get the snow boy with the snow boy's bully, we get the girl with hair. So it is a perspective, but it's told through Shuin to the main characters. They're the ones part of the story.
Shushui.
Yes, yeah, them too. And
Shushui and Kirio.
Yeah.
So
Kitty. So it's telling from them. So even though it's told from a third person part of view of an anthology,
but it's still everything that's happening in that town. So it doesn't matter whether or not if it's like, you know, anybody's different story. It's everything that's happening inside of that town. Yeah. So it all just kind of just winds back down into that, you know, the universal.
Yeah, the nucleus.
Right.
So the intro, there was an intro.
Yeah, it was a quick,
there was a title screen,
3-second title
which
screen.
and then there was an outro with credits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course.
Both of those they could have used really good music because, and again, I'm going off of the Tales of Macabre. Because Mad Kids played an amazing song, and
they did very well.
I honestly, when I think about anime, they had some of the best intros, the OPs. You think of some of the greats. You know, I think My Hero has some good ones. Mm-hmm. Demon Slayer. What's the other one? Very popular.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
No.
Tokyo Ghoul.
Tokyo Ghoul.
Berserk 97.
Berserk.
Bluebird by Naruto.
These are all good.
Yeah.
And then you have Mad Kids from Junji Ito.
I mean,
amazing.
Yeah, but Mayday had Fire Force Season 2.
Yeah, so there's some good ones. So this one, I'm expecting them to bring the same type of music intro to this one.
Yes.
But they didn't.
I get that. But from hearing what you're saying, but my opinion is it fits what they're trying to do with this 4-storyline arc to fit this whole manga into it. Having an intro and an outro, like just having ambient music fit the flow. Having a full OP song or end song would have just cut the creepiness and unsettlingness they were trying to do, because they sacrificed the 2 minutes to use as a catch up for the previous, as well as starting the next episode. Like he had mentioned, like Joe had mentioned, but also it's like it goes back to what I said recently. Like if you were getting back on the unsettling that happened, like So, spoiler, of course. In the second
Spoiler.
episode, at the end of it, with the whole snail stuff and the twisting,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the third episode did the recap of that. It would have been really weird to go from like seeing them twist and dying to a full OP opening, and then going back to, okay, well, what's going on after this? Well, they're in the hospital, and why are they there? And then the outro as well, having the broodingness for their little outro they had, kind of just kept you feeling unsettled for the next episode or in the end in general.
Yeah.
It just kept the fact that they were trying to do with the horror aspect of everything.
I'll end the note on this.
Sorry, I'm just
No, you guys, and guys, everyone's. This is my opinion, your opinion. We're not really. It's not an argument. It's just we're voicing what we think. I'll tell you right now. The reason we do first looks, and we only watch 2 episodes. So if you guys haven't watched anyone, I'm gonna do a plug in real quick. We do first looks where we watch the first two episodes of anime, and we do reviews and rating whether you should watch it or drop it. When we first started that, it was always 1 episode, but we realized, and this is something that's very common. The introduction music, the intro, is not till the 2nd episode.
That's
A lot of first episodes don't play the anime music until the 2nd one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of them do, but we started finding out that a lot of the good ones, the 2nd episodes play
either
the
that
intro.
or at the ending they play the intro to the first.
Yes.
As like a whole outro, but while it's
Right.
still showing anime.
Right.
Yeah.
It blends into the next
Mhm.
episode. So we realized. So that's why we always done the 2 episodes
Okay.
for a first look.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. Now we'll move forward. So,
Okay.
next thing I like to, and I really like to jump into the plot and story of this anime.
Mhm.
Flawless. I think the obsession over a spiral,
Mhm.
simplicity, makes this anime really good. Hands down. I think that if you focus on something very simple and you make it the entire obsession of an anime,
Mhm.
that to me is beauty. Opposed to all these other anime, because you have obsession. Really, obsession is a major theme in a lot of anime. You have Demon Slayer, the obsession of like trying to kill all the demons.
Or no, he was honestly.
My hero, number 1 hero.
Well, yes, but Demon Slayer, you're wrong. The Demon Slayer is him trying to get his sister to not be a demon. That's the whole main point. He's trying to cure his sister.
I'm going off of what he said. He said, "I want to kill all the demons."
He wants to cure his sister.
He
He
said-
wants to cure Nezuko.
He did say, "I want to kill all those demons. I'm going to kill all the demons." That's what he said.
Okay.
He
He wants to cure his sister.
Todoroki, whatever his name is.
Tanjiro.
Tanjiro, whatever.
This
his name is.
motherfucker, you hear this shit, dog? Fucking canceled.
I'm kidding. I know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
Todoroki. Just saying.
Todoroki is fucking My Hero Academia.
I'm saying, like, there's a level.
He's right there.
There's a level of obsession.
And Tanjiro's behind you, motherfucker.
It glows. It glows.
There's a level of obsession that you have whenever any story for anime.
Yeah.
There's a level of obsession, of course,
Mhm.
across the board. So the obsession here being a spiral, for me, simplicity, which makes it good. I'll let you go. As far as the plot and story, bing bong.
I mean,
I think it's the opposition of it. Everybody else in this world kind of is just getting engulfed in these spirals, and then you have the 2 main characters who are realizing that these spirals are coming out of nowhere and it's kind of just taking over the town, and it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, and anywhere they go, there seems to be a spiral that's going to be involved, and they want to oppose it.
Yeah.
But they just can't seem to get away from it. And even whenever, in spoiler
We're in
alert,
the spoiler section. You can spoil everyone.
yeah.
We already warned
they
them.
try
we have,
to
yeah.
they try to escape their town, and they just can't. They just can't because of these spirals, and it's just them trying to get out of what they're gonna have to just face is the inevitable of just this whole spiral town. And that's just how it is.
Like everyone's being consumed by spirals.
Absolutely consumed by the spiral.
And now the inevitable is that you will be consumed as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it kind of plays off of Stephen King's It with the fact of it coming back every 27 years,
Right.
Like, everything is inevitable. It consumed X amount of between the years and then hibernated and came back 27 years later. Well, that's what, the show entails, right? It starts happening. You see all the spirals. There's a connection between it, and it even shows it at the end with the whole structure of the underneath of the town. but then you have it end on a note where like, okay, well it's done, but then you have your end credits and it's like, hey, it's gonna start again. Because
which is great.
Which is what happened at the end of this.
Because we saw that and we were like, oh shit, because like it was, I guess, gender flop the protagonist and antagonist.
Basically, it just completely devoured the town and then gender flopped the entire...
It rebuilt and then it switched from the main characters being a guy who leaves and comes back and a girl to a girl who leaves and comes back and a guy who waits for her. And then, boom, it starts again. And it even says, like, maybe they can fix it, but, like, it just happens again. It's a cycle that's going to repeat itself.
Over.
And it's just
restarting over.
But it's also one of the things that I love about horror is I love when horror doesn't have a fucking happy ending. Like, happy endings kind of ruin that aspect. It's supposed to be scary, it's supposed to be brutal, it's supposed to be whatever, on the fact of, like, there's no happiness in this. And there's no happiness in that because everybody who you liked, everybody who you want to root for, they're gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
and
there's just always that
going.
There's just always that kind of hope that, you know, like the good prevails and shit like that.
I don't want no hope.
But sometimes that's just not how it plays out.
No, agreed.
That's just not how it plays out.
And
it's great to see that.
In this anime, you actually see there's a moment where the two main characters, one says go ahead and leave, and she decides I don't want to leave, and then he gets engulfed by this spiral.
Right.
So you're right. Like, this is not a happy ending for them, but they do find love, and it's basically a romance with them.
Yeah.
So it's telling them. But yeah, I agree. I'm not a big fan of happy endings.
Never not what it's about. Man.
Never a happy ending, because then you watch a happy ending and then you go back to being, you turn off the movie and you're broke. So the plot and story were actually solid. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I love that. It was so good.
Let's jump into these main characters because they are kind of there's a couple that are good. They disappeared. Hold on, wait. It's making me log in. I got it. So we have Shuichi.
Shuichi.
Yeah, that's the main guy.
Oh god, I love Shuichi. I love Shuichi because he ain't no simp. That's for sure.
No, he was more worried about his family. He was a family man.
And I think he is the main he's the main character of the show.
Well, yes.
Yeah, like, he's the MC.
He cared about his girl, but he wasn't simping for it. He wanted to know what was going on.
Started off with his dad, starting to have all
that. He lost everybody he cared about.
Right. Which the dad's name is I had it right here somewhere. It is Saito. Toshio Saito.
Okay.
So it really did start with him. And it's like him oh, my dad's been kind of strange lately.
Right.
He's like, even when he takes a shower, I don't know how he does this.
Yeah.
He has to swirl the water. Yeah, so
that was a wild scene.
It's hilarious.
Just to come up out of nowhere.
The other main character is Kirikushima.
Yes. And
she is the female lead.
Yeah.
And I think her character actually tells, because sorry, I'm trying to get these names.
A different side of the same story.
Shoichi is realizing this phenomenon is happening. Kiri is dealing with it.
Yeah.
Because she actually had an episode where her hair was super wild.
Right.
Yeah.
And that to me is like she knows first person about these spirals while he's just acknowledging their existence.
Because he wasn't...
Not only that, she had some competition with it too.
He was very absent in that episode actually.
Well, he was the hero. He came in.
Yeah, he was the one who cut her hair.
I know, but during while she's dealing with everything, he was very absent in that entire episode she's dealing with it.
He was running.
But he also had his mom that he was taking care of too.
Yes.
So after his dad passed away, she had his mom that was kind of just completely just self-harming herself just because of the spirals on her fingertips. The spirals in hair and all that stuff. So he was kind of preoccupied with that up until he got to her.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that's what I'm saying is what he said was with the fact that he's learning about it and seeing it, but she's dealing with it.
Yeah.
Is that whole episode was her dealing with all the spiral actions and everything they can do to you, while he's like off, seeing it.
Just witnessing it.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's what I was getting at. I was like, it's just
So before I'm going to talk about Uzami. There's my favorite clip in the entire show. Because I'll get that when we get to memorable clips. But Uzami essentially is a girl that all the men in the town are in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses that. Except one guy. Oh, good old Sushi. Sushi. He's the only one that is not bound by her beauty. So, theoretically, like, she is obsessed with him. And this whole episode, she's obsessed with him. Now, as a villain, how do you think she is? Like, she's a shitty friend. I'm going to say that. Because she's friend. Her friend introduces her boyfriend to her. And then she was like, you're not into me? She's shitty.
I think it was just kind of what she was already so used to.
Yeah.
So, like, basically every guy that she came across because of that crescent shape, that she had.
We'll get in that a little bit.
was what was kind of bringing them towards her. To have somebody to oppose it was something she wasn't used to.
Exactly.
And so I don't think necessarily that she was like a villain in that part, but because of that, it kind of just consumed her.
She basically used her beauty to trick someone into luring Shuichi there, and then she ate his soul or body. She's a villain.
But she ate herself.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if it was her completely though, because
the spirals are eating
the spirals, they were taking over. She had a crescent shape at first, which turned into a spiral.
Yes, and
so I guess because Shuichi was somebody who was opposing the spirals, they just wanted to influence him more to get into it.
Yeah.
So they kind of forced him into it, whether or not he was going to or not. He was going to be the one that she was going to consume.
Yeah.
I think it corrupted her. Like, this is what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
It corrupted her.
That's what I think. Like, I think it corrupted her, like he's saying, into becoming, so to speak, a fucking spiral.
Yeah, so...
Like he was absolutely
and so
right.
he didn't fall for it because he, like I said, he was the one opposing.
He's the one that, like, was aware.
Right.
He was the only one that was aware.
And so the only person that was left there for her to consume, apart from her own right eyeball,
was that
that person that she tricked him into meeting her there.
Was it the Jack in the Box kid, right?
No, actually.
Is that someone else?
Yeah, well, he got whoever that guy was.
No, it wasn't the Jack in the Box.
It was somebody that's been wanting to go on a date with her for a while.
No, it was the Jack in the Box.
It was not the Jack in the Box.
Because it was the one who scared her at the funeral, at the cemetery.
No, because
he said he's in love with her.
A lot of people said they're in love with her.
No, he's in love with his girlfriend.
He's in love. Yeah, it wasn't the Jack in the Box guy they ate. Azami and whoever she ate were never back in the anime. They're done. After episode 1, they never came back, which just makes sense. Mm-hmm. The other two, I'm going to give out 4 more characters and we'll move on. So we have Katayama and Sumara.
Katayama was the bully, right?
Katayama was the snail boy.
Yeah.
He was the heavy-set snail boy that they bullied. And then Sumara was the bully. Well, they both end up becoming snails.
And mating.
Which is very... I never knew that till you pointed it out.
That was wild.
Because I didn't know that was Sumara at all.
I mean,
he started moving slowly and stuff and started talking slowly.
And
then he started getting the swirl in the back, and then that was whenever they, like, noticed that it was him, and then they saw him on the walls, and they were like, it's...
But are you talking about the main... Okay, Zamara, right?
Right. The bully.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, they saw the main kid, the one getting bullied on the walls.
Not only just him, but it was the bully too that was on the walls.
This is the last time, right?
Because he was already caught, right?
Yeah, yes.
And then they saw him walking up like the windows and stuff, and they said that it was him, and then they both put them in the same pen.
They did that.
And then they started mating.
Yeah,
they did this.
So I don't know if I missed a part, but like,
you were asleep.
No, I wasn't asleep. You missed it, but. I knew that the main kid getting bullied was like a snail and stuff. I saw when I realized that the snail that was mating was the other dude. Was whenever he was chasing after I think it was their girlfriend or whatever, but he was like kind of started going slower after the kid getting bullied was a snail.
Yeah.
And I saw him like getting slower and saying that, so I was like, oh, maybe he's turning into a snail. And then I remember seeing a bunch of stuff about him turning into one, but then whenever they started like doing their things, I was like, oh, that's the bully. And
I didn't know that you
then
said so.
they laid eggs and shit. And all that
Right.
other stuff happened.
The last one I'll bring up, there's two
Because
other
they're neither
characters.
female
Yes,
nor male.
they're
Yeah, asexual.
Asexual.
Yeah, the two other characters I'll bring up is Yamaguchi. He's the Jack in Box character
Okay.
that gets killed by a car.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that.
Oh, you're right. Now I remember. Yes.
That's the end of that guy's story. And the other one is Maruyama. She was
Maruyama?
She was the last one. She was the one that the car wreck that got up, and it was the final episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then she gets trapped by the woods. That's
Okay.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really much to report on them, unless you have something.
No, I thought you were gonna mention the cousin. Not the cousin. Well, there's the cousin, but there's also Zamato and the other girl when they were trying to run away with the twisted snakes. Those are big parts
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Those are big characters because I mean, and the whole point they're trying to escape their families who have been corrupted by wealth in the land and poverty. That they're trying to escape it because they don't want to be turned evil like their families have been. So they try to leave. And at the end of it, they get turned into the snakes because they want to be together rather than apart. Oh, this is Gus, by the way, people.
This is Gus. He needs to go.
So, yeah, I forgot about Lily, and I'll leave it at that.
They remain. And to me, they were a full episode worth of people.
Well, think about that episode. It's like they were a small fraction of that episode. Because there was so much on that episode.
There was.
There was the snail, there was the lighthouse, there was... was the hair on that one?
No, they were on the third episode.
I think it was...
No. Oh,
The
wait,
second
no, you're right.
episode
They were on
was the
second.
hair.
Yeah. I know, but the snake part where they twisted together.
That's also the second episode, yeah.
Fuck, okay.
Yeah.
There's so
I
much in the
remember
second
because you're
episode.
like, I hate snakes.
Yeah, I do hate snakes. Fuck, they're fucking little shit.
So, yeah, there was a lot in that episode. So
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
The cousin, though, it had stuff. But
Yeah.
that might be with the next one.
Well, now we'll get into memorable scenes.
Okay, let's go.
So, obviously, the most memorable scene, and I think you guys will all agree, is Azama.
Uh-huh.
Her eye rolls back into her head,
Yes.
which is such an iconic scene in the manga.
Uh-huh.
Like when you read the manga,
Right.
but also seeing it happen in real life,
Yeah.
actually move. I actually used that clip to show one of my coworkers. He was like, "Oh, I gotta watch it now."
Yeah, you said that when you were watching it.
Unfortunately, the animation didn't get better after that, but that was solid because that made me. It gave me that weird fear of holes. Whatever it is.
Was it just no? Just kidding. No, that's a fear. No, just kiddingophobia. No. I don't know. I understand about that. It's a weird fear. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know. I like holes. So.
It was a very hard thing to watch.
You.
Watching her face get engulfed by this, watching her face get engulfed by a spiral was absolutely insane.
It was, and it was one of my favorites, definitely.
Wait,
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna cover it now, guys. Gotta go pee. So the eye rolling back was one of the most memorable scenes, I think, for the anime. What about you guys? What do you have?
I said it a second ago, but mine had to have been with the cousin inside. I can't remember her name, but inside the hospital with I guess the blood sucking type of shit. Like that was insane.
Blood sucking pregnant women, right?
Well, yeah, blood sucking pregnant. Yes.
But not only that, where like they were giving birth to the babies and then putting them back inside the
that shit was weird.
That shit was crazy.
But yeah, like when the girlfriend Kiriko or whatever, but like she ends up catching them, right? They figured out like there was a whole like who's puncturing these holes, and then the next scene is her catching them doing it. But then she leaves and escapes for some reason, and then it's like, oh, her cousin's like, all right, give me your fucking blood, and it's like, dude, it's insane. Just all that shit was crazy. Like it was so out of pocket, but made sense at the same time.
This scene was kind of crazy. And then you had the babies talking.
Man, I forgot about that
Right,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, they were talking.
That was talking to each
Like they
other.
were fucking 401k 35-year-old fucking people
Full on conversations about
going back in the fucking.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a very odd scene. Yeah. What about
Crazy.
you, Joel? You got anything?
Mine was the cremation, where it started spiraling.
Oh yeah.
Spiraling into the sky and everything,
Yeah.
and then just coming back down. That was one of my favorite ones.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that was cool. And really, I mean, the whole scene with Shuichi's father was like really good.
Oh yeah, when they show his face in the smoke.
The smoke, but like all scenes he's in was actually pretty cool.
Dude, they were crazy.
Like the tongue swirling,
The tub he was in,
The
that he was
tub.
found dead
That
in.
was
the
wild.
eyes swirling, the moving around the bath water to take a bath. Like,
Mhm.
every
Yeah.
scene he was in was good, and I think that was really good on like
Yeah.
because that was technically that was the beginning of understanding the most obsession.
The point of the swirl.
Yeah,
the
the-
Uzumaki.
Right, yeah. It was just
Exactly.
kind of just taking over.
Yeah. Any other memorable or favorable scenes?
Damn, I don't know.
I don't think I got any left.
Apart from being like able to take control over those tornadoes that they
Oh, that
were
was
in,
crazy.
like
I still don't get that, but that was cool.
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, but just using that as like I guess their weapon to control whatever humanity was left in that town.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just say like the anime end of it. Let's go ahead and give it a review.
Okay.
I know we've been talking about this anime, so we do it out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you have 5 edamame. How many edamame are you gonna give us out of 5?
Am I going first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck. Sorry. Honestly, that's my first horror. I'm gonna give it a 4. I really enjoyed it.
4 edamame out of 5.
I'd watch it again. Honestly, I would recommend it. It's really good. I need to watch more of the Junji Ito. I need to watch the rest. But I mean, as of like an outsider coming into it, I mean, it was solid.
Yeah.
And I don't know how crazy or anything the other ones may get. But even if they do get crazier, this would be the one I would recommend to be an intro if it does get crazier. So I would say 4. It was really good.
I give
like
it a 4 as well.
I ain't alone.
All right.
I give it a 4 as well. I
4
thoroughly
edamame.
enjoyed it. I wasn't a big fan of the animation after the first episode, but as far as story goes and how the creep factor kind of just like kind of pulled me into it, I enjoyed it. It was a good watch.
I was give this 2, but
How dare
I'll
you.
give it a 3.
No,
I-
don't let us peer pressure you.
No, you did. Too late. So I
Said no, you did.
I know.
yeah, definitely did. I always go back by like, so I do a comparison of like collections they have. So one of my favorite anime is Samurai Champloo, and I use that to compare Cowboy Bebop, same creators.
Go on.
Yeah.
So with Junji Ito collection, Junji Ito created multiple stuff. I've watched his original stuff, the Macabre. I watched it. I thought it was phenomenal. The story was really good. I was really scared. Some of them were really made me like uncomfortable at night. Then I watched this. I wasn't scared. I did not really. The characters were not that likable, in my opinion. I did like Kiri, but Shuichi I didn't like. So there's a lot to play in this, but really I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5 because I just wasn't for me. Like if I could go back and rewatch it, I probably would.
And I mean, that's fair. Like I said, I'm an outsider. So
Yeah.
to me, this is really good. I haven't seen the other ones, so I'm going off of what I know. Granted, going off of your recommendation, I'm really excited to watch the other ones and see how crazy they can get. Because, I mean, that makes me excited to know that you rate it lower because the other ones are so good. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And I cannot wait to watch them.
So we got a 4, 4, and 3. So guys, go ahead and comment down below. Let us know what you think the anime should get out of 5. We talked about it. We talked about everything we need to do. That's all we got, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Later.